The Pentagon just released a new batch of 161 files related to disclosure of what some say is evidence of alien life, or interdimensional beings, or even top secret military projects. You could spend all weekend looking through the scores of videos, images, including ones from the moon taken by NASA astronauts, and PDFs related to unidentified flying objects, or as they're being referred to by some officials, as unidentified anomalous phenomenon. Secretary of the Department of War, Pete Hegseth, said in a statement with today's release that the Department of War is in lockstep with President Trump to bring unprecedented transparency regarding our government's understanding of unidentified anomalous phenomenon. He goes on to say that these files, hidden behind classifications, have long fueled justification, and it's time to have the American people see it for themselves. He further said, this release of declassified documents demonstrates the Trump administration's earnest commitment to unprecedented transparency. Now, while other previously released UFO files are archived at aaro.mil, the first trove of files released by the War Department at war.gov/UFO touch on incidents from around the world and, yes, even from the moon. Among the oldest documents in the collection comes from a January 9th, 1950 report to the Air Materiel Command with the subject, unidentified flying objects. The Department of War says that 143-page document compiles UFO reports throughout 1949. Another document from 1948 relates to the earlier reporting of flying objects and flying saucers. Now, it's not just old documents, digitized for all to read. There are plenty of pictures and even video from around the world labeled as unresolved UAP reports. Many of those videos come through the lens of highly sophisticated imaging equipment used by defense intelligence, locking onto some kind of phenomenon, moving at speeds not known to be achievable by contemporary propulsion systems. And it's not just the incredible speeds the objects are moving, but the tight turns and trajectories of the objects that seem to defy physics. There's even audio from 1965's Gemini 7 mission, where astronaut Frank Borman reports to NASA Mission Control in Houston his sighting of an unidentified object, which he referred to as a bogey.
So we have a bogey at 10 o'clock time.
Roger. Gemini 7, is that the booster or is that an actual sighting?
What?
Say again, 7?
Okay, we have several, looks like the three up there, actual sighting.
You have any more information, estimated distance or size?
We also have the booster in sight.
Understand you also have the booster in sight, Roger.
And we have very, very many, looks like hundreds of little particles going by to the left out about 3 to 4 miles.
Understand you have many small particles going by on the left. At what distance?
4 miles. Large, looks like perhaps a vehicle that's disintegrated.
Again, an astronaut out in space telling Mission Control that they see part of their booster, but they also see a bogey and even what looks like could be disintegrated pieces of something 3 or 4 miles away from their craft in space. But what exactly is going on here? Why are these files being released now? Is it a ploy to distract from high gas prices, the conflict in the Middle East, or even the Epstein files? Or is it simply a response from the Trump administration to the growing calls from members of Congress briefed on such phenomenon, demanding the public has a right to know? There's plenty of postulation on those possibilities. While these questions are important, maybe just as important, if not more, is how much you, the taxpayer, may be paying for some of this. A nearly 40-year-old article in Washington Monthly, archived at CIA.gov, titled "The Dark Secret of the Black Budget," discusses how back in 1987, then $35 billion in defense programs was considered invisible, and asserting that it's hurting national security. Now, that article says that there have always been programs and certain types of weapon systems that were so top secret that public hearings were deemed inappropriate. For example, prior to 1987, such spending was used for advanced technical fighters like the stealth bomber and various types of satellite programs. Now, the article also gives mention to kamikaze dolphins as part of the CIA's Marine Mammal Project to, quote, train dolphins as underwater kamikazes. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth Tuesday, during a press briefing, he responded to questions about kamikaze dolphins being utilized in the Strait of Hormuz.
I can't confirm or deny whether we have kamikaze dolphins, but I can confirm they don't.
But spending on secret programs jumped nearly tenfold in 1987. Reportedly, more than 2/3 of the money is hidden in research, developments, and procurements. Some of that taxpayer spending may be within programs operated by the National Intelligence Program and the Military Intelligence Program. Today, a significant portion of the more than $850 billion military budget, line items for NIP and MIP, total about $115.5 billion. Now, that's roughly a 360 to 425% increase from 1987. Is all of that part of the so-called black budget? Whatever the spending's for, taxpayers should know that comes out to around $1 of every $12 spent for military spending, not having much, if any, oversight for those who are writing the checks. Again, you, the U.S. taxpayer. Now, the CIA archived Washington Monthly article from 1987 notes information about such programs so compartmentalized, with virtually no supervision, fewer supervisors, fewer auditors, and fewer people looking over fewer shoulders, raising alarms about waste. Now, as President Donald Trump looks to spend $1.5 trillion for the military budget for the next fiscal year, an annual increase of 42%, questions will continue to come in about accountability to the taxpayer who are funding all of this, especially if some have noted the Department of War failed its 8th consecutive audit in December 2025. Now, last June, the Department of War told Congress that it would be able to successfully account for all of its spending and assets by 2028. Does that include the so-called black budget? And how much of that went into compiling UAP evidence, or even housing, reverse engineering, and studying craft from out of this world or from deep in the ocean? Time will tell as more disclosure of UFO and UAP sightings continue to come out, and as Congress learns more about all of the taxpayer spending involved in such activities.